Kyle Busch's family has already shared the medical conclusion behind his sudden death. Now, a new People Health explainer is focusing on the question many NASCAR fans have been asking since that statement was released. How can pneumonia progress into sepsis so quickly, and why can sepsis become fatal even for someone young, active, and publicly known as an elite competitor? Busch died on May 21st at age 41. NASCAR confirmed his death in a joint announcement with the Busch family and Childress Racing, and the family later said a medical evaluation concluded that severe pneumonia progressed into sepsis, leading to rapid and overwhelming complications. That wording is important because it gives the public a confirmed medical framework, but it does not open the door to guessing about private treatment decisions, symptoms that have not been confirmed by the family, or details that remain outside the public record. The latest People report brings in Dr. Todd Rice, a critical care expert at Vanderbilt University Medical Center. He did not treat Busch and was not connected to his case. His role in the article was to explain sepsis generally, how an infection like pneumonia can trigger a body-wide response, why that response can become dangerous, and why younger people can sometimes appear to be managing an illness until the body can no longer compensate. That distinction matters. This is not a doctor reconstructing every private moment of Kyle Busch's final days. It is a medical expert explaining the condition the family publicly identified. For verified entertainment and sports updates without the rumors, subscribe to Startline Entertainment. The confirmed public timeline begins with the announcement that Busch had been hospitalized with a severe illness. NASCAR later reported that his death was announced by the Busch family, NASCAR, and Childress Racing. 2 days later, the family released the medical update, saying severe pneumonia had progressed into sepsis. The Associated Press also reported that the family received that medical evaluation on Saturday, after Busch's death. Sepsis is not simply an infection. According to the CDC, sepsis happens when the body has an extreme response to an infection, and medical providers look for signs such as fever, increased heart rate, low blood pressure, and trouble breathing. Mayo Clinic describes sepsis as a serious condition where the body's response to infection causes organs to work poorly. If it progresses into septic shock, blood pressure can fall dramatically, which can damage organs including the lungs, kidneys, liver, and others. That is why pneumonia can be especially serious in some cases. Pneumonia affects the lungs, and Mayo Clinic lists lung infections such as pneumonia among infections that can lead to sepsis. Dr. Rice explained to People that many younger people who get pneumonia recover with treatment, but in some cases the inflammatory response becomes uncontrolled. Instead of staying local to the original infection, the body's reaction can begin affecting blood pressure, brain function, kidney function, breathing, and other organs. The difficult part is that sepsis can be hard to recognize early. O2 describes sepsis as a medical emergency and lists warning signs including fever, fast heart rate, rapid breathing, confusion, body pain, clammy skin, weak pulse, low blood pressure, and reduced urine output. The CDC also says people who might have sepsis should be evaluated and treated immediately. Those details are not included to diagnose anyone from the outside. They matter because they explain why public health agencies treat sepsis as time-sensitive. The People report also addresses one of the biggest questions fans had after the family's statement. How could someone so physically capable become critically ill so suddenly? Dr. Rice explained that younger, healthy people can sometimes compensate during an infection, meaning they may continue functioning while the illness is getting worse beneath the surface. But if oxygen levels fall, blood pressure drops, or the body's inflammatory response becomes overwhelming, that compensation can fail quickly. That explanation helps clarify the medical concept without pretending to know everything that happened privately. Publicly, the known facts are limited. Busch had severe pneumonia, it progressed into sepsis, and the complications became rapid and overwhelming. The broader NASCAR context is also important because this health update arrived during one of the sport's most emotional weekends. NASCAR honored Busch before the Coca-Cola 600 at Charlotte Motor Speedway, where Samantha Busch, their children Brexton and Lennox, his parents Tom and Gay, and his brother Kurt Busch were present. NASCAR CEO Steve O'Donnell addressed the crowd. The field left a missing man formation before the start, and fans paid tribute on lap 8. That public ceremony showed how much the sport was still processing the suddenness of the loss. Childress Racing also made a symbolic decision after Busch's death. The team announced it would suspend use of the number 8 and run the number 33 instead. RCR said the stylized number 8 had become strongly tied to Kyle and would be reserved for his son Buxton when he is ready to go NASCAR racing. That decision moved the conversation from only what happened medically to how the sport is preserving his legacy. Still, this particular update is not mainly about trophies, numbers, or the number 8. It is about the medical explanation behind the family's statement. The careful way to say it is this: Kyle Busch's family publicly identified severe pneumonia progressing into sepsis as the medical conclusion. Medical experts and public health agencies describe sepsis as a life-threatening emergency that can develop from infections, including pneumonia, when the body's response becomes damaging to its own tissues and organs. What remains unclear is the full private medical timeline, and unless the family chooses to share more, that should remain private. There is no public basis for blaming anyone, filling in missing details, or turning the final days into speculation. The verified takeaway is narrower but important. Kyle Busch died at 41 after severe pneumonia progressed into sepsis. People's expert explainer shows why sepsis can move quickly, why it can affect even younger adults, and why early medical evaluation matters when an infection is not improving or symptoms become more serious. For NASCAR, the loss remains deeply personal. For viewers trying to understand the medical update, the answer is that sepsis is not ordinary illness taking its normal course. It is the body's emergency response to infection becoming dangerous in itself. For now, the public story rests on 3 confirmed points: the family's medical statement, the expert explanation of sepsis, and NASCAR's ongoing tribute to a driver whose absence was felt immediately across the sport.
What I think we'll miss most isn't the wins. It's the guy who quietly wanted to help a teammate or give some advice. It was the husband, the father, or the guy who quietly did things for others when no one was watching. And to the Busch family, Tom, Gay, Kurt, all the folks at RCR and JGR, we are certainly thinking about you. Samantha, I want you to know that this sport stands with you and that you and your children are NASCAR family forever. And Brexton and Lennox, your dad loved you with all his heart. Everyone gathered here, everyone behind you, everybody watching on TV, and all those people up in that grandstand are your family, and we've got you. Kyle Busch is NASCAR. He was one of a kind, and there will never be another. And I'd ask everybody now to join us in a moment of silence for Kyle.